This week's Parshas Mishpatim begins immediately after the giving of the Torah that we studied about in last week's portion, the divine revelation at Mount Sinai. God appeared at Mount Sinai to the Jewish people, and they, in a collective national sense, received the Torah and the mission of God in this world. So you would expect in the aftermath to learn about all these spiritual ideas and lofty concepts in order to achieve the goal, as we learned about last week's portion, to be a holy people. Yet when we take a look in this week's portion, we learn about so many mundane things. How to go ahead and pay for damages. If you went ahead and inflicted some damages on your friend, you broke his window, or your animal went ahead and damaged his property, and all sorts of laws about civil litigation in terms of compensating others, and in terms of speaking truthful and testifying. So there's all these sorts of seemingly mundane concepts and commandments that we learn about in this week's portion. And the question we have to ask ourselves is, where's the spirituality in all of this, and how does this connect to the revelation that we learned about in last week's portion? I think this teaches us a very fundamental concept in Judaism, and that is in terms of understanding spirituality. Yes, we strive to be spiritual, we strive to connect with God in our daily lives, but we live in a materialistic world, and we have dealings with people all day, and the goal that we have, the Torah puts that challenge in front of us, is how to infuse spirituality in our daily lives, in our most mundane activities. How do we go ahead and infuse spirituality into the mundane? And that's what we learn about in this week's portion. We learn about all sorts of different scenarios, all different mundane occurrences that may happen. And the Torah teaches us how to go ahead and look at that in an elevated, uplifting, spiritual way. And I think this teaches us not only a lesson about this week's parsha, but it teaches us in terms of a general concept in Judaism of how to infuse spirituality into the mundane. Folks, many times in our lives, we get discouraged by the monotonous schedule of our lives and the mundane realities. But let us remember the lesson of this week's parsha, and let us always remember how we can infuse spirituality into our daily lives. Have a wonderful Shabbos.